today, on the sixth day of World Mental Health Week, we have very special guest speaker with us, Honorable Dr. Roshan Lal sir. He is currently a professor at Department of Psychology, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Also founder and president at National Association of Psychological Sciences. Sir has a vast experience in the field of teaching and research. He is also a founder and member of various prestigious associations worldwide. So today he is going to enlighten us on a very relevant topic, that is geriatric mental health in the digitalized world. So not taking too much time, now I would like to request our guest to kindly proceed today's session. Sir.
Thank you, my dear friend, for introducing me, and thank you for your organizations giving me an opportunity to be the part of this wonderful sessions you are conducting, inviting n numbers of experts for sharing their expertise about the mental health. I am delighted that you people are organizing to sensitize the mass or the people about the importance of mental health. Mental health, that I mean to say, is a status of your mind, the status of your self. So elderly mental health and digitalizations, the present world level changes going on into the digitalizations, and the digitalization is the demand of the time. And there is a big concept of digital divide. Digital divide, the one is very comfortable on the digital mode or digital devices or appliances, another one is not comfortable. So the young generation is more comfortable to use the digital devices or appliances or instrument, while the geriatric population, elderly people, they are not digitalized friendly. So this is a big question. What about the mental health status of the elderly people? The elderly people are considered as a non-productive age of human life. And mental health is not a destination, but a process. It is about how you drive, not where to go. You people cannot decide where to go, but you are decide that how to go. Then definitely the elderly population is growing in the Indian context, as this is very much predicted that one out of every five Indians will become elderly by 2050 of this elderly population in India. Now, elderly mental health is a big issue, and this mental health is worldwide, globally, or worldwide celebrated to create awareness among the people about different mental health conditions and their management. The another aim of the celebrations observing this mental health day is to reduce the stigma, myths, and misconceptions that are associated with mental health, to encourage people about seeking help for their mental health issues instead of feeling anxious and nervous about the mental health issues. Whenever we have a mental health issue, we are to unmute ourselves, we are to share ourselves, so that to seek some resolutions or to seek some solutions of the problem related to your mental health. This is further aim of this celebrations of World Mental Health Day is to educate the people about different ways to protect the mental health. People must know that mental health is an important as compared to your physical health. Mental health issues should not be neglected due to any reason. Why? Because mental health and physical health both goes parallel. There is significant correlation between these two. If one is down, another automatically get affected. So both they are interdependent. So the aim of these celebrations or observing of this World Mental Health Day to promote inclusions and protect the right of the people with mental illness. Inclusion is a big component. We would like to include the geriatric populations, elderly populations with all the existing digitalized facilities to feel wellness. So this is the concept that digitalizations helping a lot to encourage the people to seek help in terms of professionals, in terms of online, in terms of one-to-one, face-to-face. Online seeking help is the outcome of digitalizations. The World Mental Health Day is focusing on the mental health issues at the global level. And we people are celebrating this with the help of different perspectives in our mind, because geriatric populations or the elderly population starts from 60 years onwards. For example, there is a different age levels, like 60 to 69 they might be old, and according 70 to 79 they might be older old, and 80 plus people of age might be oldest old. Then other way we can also describe or bifurcate the age in terms of the elderly populations. That means the age of 60 to 74 years might be called young old. Then 75 to 84 years of age might be called middle old. And then 85 years plus, 85 years onward, we can call old old. The distributions of this aging is the process of growing old, and it is multidimensional. Life is a cycle, and the cyclic process change is going on since the birth till death. Elderly populations or geriatric population is just like a child. Child being dependent, elderly are reaching at the same level being dependent. As child is needing a spoon feeding, similarly the elderly people may reach up to that level, that age of spoon feeding. Multi dimensions are involved in our growing old, which directly related to our human life. Aging is basically the overall decline in functionalities, leads to decline in proportions of young in the populations. There are some distortions, there are some impairment in the functionality of the elderly people, so they call elderly or they call aged. The lives of many older people are more frequently negatively affected by the social and economic insecurity that accompany demographic and developmental processes. The growth of individualism and desire of the independence and autonomy of the young generations affect the status of elderly. Now see, today's in Indian populations, we focusing and we propose, and this is a trend, this is the fashions going on about a nuclear family system. The days has gone. Long back, the Indian culture was full of a joint family system. Joint family system supporting the mental health intact. And in present scenario, the rural population still the people are enjoying a joint family system, and the elderly having special care being the senior most respectable member of the family. While in nuclear family system, the commercializations, the professionalisms dominating among the nuclear families. That's why the elderly people feels neglected. In Indian perspective, both husband and wife working, children going to school, elderly staying alone in their house like a caretaker. This is the scenario of Indian populations, Indian society with a nuclear family system. And this creating a lot of psychosocial impact negatively on the mindset or a behavioral personality or body or physical health of the elderly people in the Indian society. The following 8 components influence the deprivations among the elderly, like poverty, social integrity, social isolations, physical weakness, vulnerability, Then, following humiliations, powerlessness, and other problems, majority of the elderly peoples are facing these types of problem in Indian societies. Deprivations and exclusions are one of the common phenomena in almost all aging society. Usually, the elderly people feel deprived, feel isolated, feel rejected, and feel no place, no values in the existing ongoing social scenarios in the society. The elderly in the developing countries also suffer from chronic deprivations and poverty. Being the non-productive, the elderly peoples are having n numbers of issues, being lacking money in their pocket. As socio-economic relations in terms of deprivations, in terms of poverty, influencing a lot to the elderly people. The elderly in India often ends up in the state of deprivation and negligence as there is no proper social security system in India. Right now, we must be thankful to the present government which has started to go for mental health insurance scheme. Long back, there were only physical health insurance. The private companies coming forward, the government policies coming forward to extending the mental health insurance to generate the security feeling of people belonging to a particular segment of the society that is called elderly. Elderly in India often end up in a state of deprivation. This is rightly mentioned. Deprivations, negligence, and isolation, these are the three psychosocial components. With the help of these, elderlies dying daily, mentally or socially. These economic, health, and social insecurities are becoming very prevalent among the elderly in India. Physical health risk is very high among the elderly populations. Morbidity risk and lack of access to health care are among the factors causing physical and mental health insecurity among the elderly. There are so much examples of comorbidity among the elderly are prevailing in our Indian society. Comorbidity, suppose a person is suffering from a physical illness or a chronic illness, automatically psychological disorders onset will be there. Then social isolation and loneliness are often considered to be problem of growing elderly population in India. As people age, many outliers related to friends and social interactions may become limited as people stay closer to home because of mobility difficulties and increased chronic illness. The elderly being unable to walk may lack the friends, may lack the social interactions, being limited mobility. Another example we can take the impairment among the elderly. The peoples having a poor visions may have another disability to move out. People are having a hearing impairment is another difficulty to cope up, to interact, to stay connected with the society in the neighboring or the surroundings. UN Decades of Healthy Aging 2021 to 2030, the WHO has observing or decided to celebrate this decade as a healthy aging. Healthy aging, how age in a healthy manner. The United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging, decided by the World Health Organization globally, that every individual, irrespective of the country, socially, culturally component, all they are to be healthy aging. Now, what is healthy aging? Healthy aging refers to the process of developing and maintaining the functional ability that enables well-being among the elder populations. Now you see this is the component of developing and maintaining the functional ability. This is the most important. If you are physically, mentally intact, having a intact functional abilities, your healthy aging will be definitely there. And if we deprived, we lacking functionalities in terms of physical or mental capacity, definitely our aging will be facing a lot of difficulties. This may include a person's ability to meet their basic needs. If suppose I am an elder one and I am meeting my basic needs and independently, so that means I have my healthy aging. Then if I'm learning and growing and making decision at my own, that clearly indicating that I am proceeding, I am leading towards my healthy aging. Further, if I am maintaining my mobility intact, having right time to go for walk, running, exercise, jogging, and all these things, meeting people and many things. So definitely this is another indicator of unhealthy aging. Thereafter, if we have an intact relationship, we are building and maintaining the relationship intact adequately as in our young age. So this is another indicator of our healthy aging. Then finally, we can calculate the healthy aging indicator on the basis of the contribution of the human being to the society. If I am consistently contributing something to society in a positive manner, so this clearly indicating, yes, I am having healthy aging or I am leading towards healthy aging. So with all these components, we can have a guess, we can check whether the individual is leading towards a healthy aging or non-healthy aging. This is a big example and a big story published in newspaper about हिंदी में बोलते हैं हम उसको कल के हीरो आज के जीरो. The people who were superstar sometime, having a big authority, role, status during their productive era, now their people has been marginalized and their people are called like kal ke hero, aaj ke zero. The person who was hero yesterday, today, being elderly, they have been marginalized up to the zero level. So this is a story of the n numbers of population and number of people who ever been a hero in their productive age, and while there is a transitional gap from productive to the non-productive age, the people become zero because they are not doing contributing anything to the society. And this is the reason that the people don't want to consider the elderly at par with the young population. So this gap we are to fill up with the help of the celebrations and observing of the World Mental Health Day, because the people at the elderly level cannot say they have a zero experience of their life. They are full of experiences, but due to deteriorated functionality, due to deteriorated lack of mobility or lack of vision, lack of impairment, and due to some chronic illness, basically, we should not reject, we should not ignore the people who have contributed a lot for the significance level of the development of the society and the country accordingly, or the humanity. Aging in the digital world is from vulnerable to valuable. Aging in digital world from, that means in 2021, you can compare the vulnerability of the elderly people and the valuable in terms of assisted digitalized devices. There are n numbers of digital devices which are assisting the elderly people to become valuable for them, for the society. And itself, the digital device is proving the worthness or valuableness for the people of the elderly populations to enable them from the vulnerable level to the significant contributory level to the society. Since decades, elder generations have been considered as a vulnerable group. Why vulnerable? Because they are vulnerable to physical chronic disease, they are lacking immunity system, right? They are vulnerable to any mental illness, they are vulnerable to any physical illness due to deterioration of their mental and physical health, and even they are considered as a burden on the younger generations. I referring the one example of Erikson theories or Erikson stages of social development. And the last stage, integrated versus despair. The last stage of social development prescribed or given by Erik Erikson. That means during the eighth stage of the individual social development, during integrated and despair, person started to feel जब उसकी ही औलाद their own children started to say कि आपने किया ही क्या. So then the people started to having a despair level of satisfaction or dissatisfactions from their life. So the ICT can become enables for the social inclusions of the elder populations. Good health is not distributed equally between and within the populations. Good health is a continuum. Health is a continuum consisting of multiple dimensions. There's not a unidimensional related health. Similarly, mental health is also a multiple dimensions. And if one dimension is missing, the mental health get affected. We must try to keep intact all the dimensions subordinating, correlating, or supporting mental health in a well manner. Only then geriatric mental health can be retained properly. Nowadays, healthy aging strategies and particularly information and communication technology can help to transform this misleading stereotype into conception that older perceptions are valuable contributors to the society. Take one example. If you have a poor vision, take mobile, go for Zoom, and you can zoom the message, you can read the message. Right? Go to mobile. If you have a hearing impairment, put your call on the speaker and you can listen whatever the another person's telling to you. This is a boon to the elderly populations, the digital device. There are n numbers of the examples in which aging populations can enjoy their life and they feel inclusions and at par with the young populations. Aging and digitalizations. Today we can connect with anyone, anywhere. See the example of the elderly population staying in India, they are well connected with their population, their children staying in Canada, America, Australia, wherever, through online, digital. Digitalization, digital connectivity, helping you not to feel isolations, not to feel lonely. Whenever you feel lonely or isolations, give a call, give a video call, have a live chat, and you feel that yes, we are just face-to-face interactions going on. We can have stress. We can have an access to different products and services, including learning and entertainment online. If you are feeling bored, you've been lonely in house, go to televisions and start to watch your preferred serial, your preferred network, preferred pictures of your choice accordingly to get rid of your loneliness. The age technology namely all technological products and services designed with and for older adults, has huge potentials to help boost up development and inclusion feeling among the elderly populations. Age friendly devices, n numbers of devices are there. WHO has rightly defined healthy aging includes n numbers of things, that means meeting the basic needs, right? Then learning, then growing and making decisions, maintaining mobility, building, maintaining relationships, and contributing to society, including technology, will indicating the intact healthy aging of the populations in our society. In the equation of those objectives can be the key to achieving them sooner and in a better way if the relevant considerations are taken into account in order to create age-friendly environment. Take one example. You go back 40, 50 years, there was no electronic devices like a ladder, like a lift, and people cannot walk upstairs. Most are lacking mobility. They cannot go upstairs. Now take the help of the lift. Go upstairs, do your job, come down with the help of lift. And even there are elderly friendly vehicles are there even. You can moderate the vehicle according to your suitability. So this is the benefit of your digitalized world to feel mentally healthy people of elderly. So if we can take another example of e-banking, no need, you are poor mobility, no need to go bank, online banking, stay home. But you must learn how to use computer. You must learn. And by staying home, only online you can do any numbers of assignments complete of your day-to-day life, like e-banking, e-commerce, e-health, right? You would like to take an appointment, drop an email to the respective doctor, I'm coming on this time at this time. I need your assistant at this time, kindly visit to me. This is in communications through digitalized devices. Then e-learning and labor programs. You take another examples of online learning, you feel lonely. You are age of 70, 75, cognitively intact. You can join online degree course of your choice just to feel busy, just to feel occupied. You can involve yourself through digitalizations in n numbers of activities. Then you can go for alternative transportations means. Alternative transportation means, that is, which helps you to maintain your mobility. Online programs and social network. You take the example of WhatsApp, take the example of LinkedIn, Facebook. Update yourself, feel cheers, and get catharsis. All these social medias with the help of digitalized world helping you to ventilate your emotions, to go for sharing. The biggest problem among the elderly population is lacking the sharing. No one there to share, no one there to sit with them to discuss. They have even numbers of things in their mind. They convert it into conflict because to whom they are to share? No one. So the digital technology, digitalizations helps you to write n numbers of things on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your WhatsApp, and chat with the people and get update knowledge, update informations going on in your surrounding, in the society, update yourself and share your ideology, share your expertise to the people of like-minded. So stakeholders need to get together and identify opportunities for older adults to engage in meaningful ways and to connect them with helpful resources. You can retain meaningfully occupied, but depend which device you are having, how much knowledge you are having, and how much comfortable to operate the respective devices to feel connected. This ICT are today's means of achieving these goals in a scalable and safe manner. Now, this is another condition, scalable and a safe manner. You will not in a positions if you are sitting on a Facebook, checking, putting, updating, LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp, you will forget the time. You cannot feel lonely, but when you are to use all the digitalized devices, you must be cautious. Every elderly must be cautious because they are not so digital friendly. Why? Because safe manner when you're using any device like mobile, anyone can cheat you through cyber problem, cyber crime, cyber bullying, and numbers of crimes going on through just digital devices. That is called cyber crime. When you feel unsafe, immediately you switch off your internet connections and you take off from the respective connections, respective platform, and don't be the culprit of any security challenge to these devices. Because digitalization is a boon and curse, both. Boon and numbers of facilities we are enjoying. We are staying connected irrespective whatever the distance we are having. But if the digitalizations are there, helping our day-to-day life to make more smooth, feeling happy and healthy and connected and sharing all these things, but parallel to this, digital digitalization is also having a curse to our society because some people become the culprit of cyber security. They can lost their n numbers of life earning in lakhs of rupees, right? The people just having a repent and a guilt, and the people are having just crying that their life saving has gone. So this can be curse. Why? Because this is a merit and demerit both going parallelly. But in the digitalized world, elderly populations being not friendly to the digitalized equipment or devices are to have an extra cautious. You ask someone to assist you people, your youngsters, your young generations might be there because young generations don't want to support you regularly because they have their time schedule. You are free. Your n numbers of time, but they don't have time. There is a lack of time in every human life. There is one example. A one smart teenager asking his father that dad, your time was hard work time. My time is smart work time. So you see the digital divide, see the generation gap because elderly cannot equip well according to the demand of the digitalizations or digitalized world, right? So we are to train the elderly populations for extra consciousness or the extra cautious when they are using some money transactions, some online banking and all these things, that they should not trap by anyone for any to damage for their lifelong earning in their life. I am now referring some assistive technology for the elderly populations. why assisted technology are to be needed, and in what segment of human life the assisted technology are to be required. You take one example of low hearing or hearing impairment. Hearing aids is very popular among the elderly populations nowadays. We can go for hearing aid devices to put in our ear so that you can get a proper voice. If you having a low vision, then assisted technology are to be needed by the people of elderly populations having a low vision. Then hearing impairment, we need the assisted devices to enhance our hearing power. And then we have memory and cognitive loss, for example, we need assisted devices. Then suppose you have a memory loss, you have forgetting, and suppose one elderly population having a chronic disease, doctors has given 3 times injection or tablet. So the elderly people having a problem of forgetting because a cognitive impairment, memory problem. So take mobile, fix the reminder in the mobile according to the medicines are to be taken, and the mobile will give a reminder call, and reminder call will remind you to take the medicines accordingly. Then physical access, n numbers of facilities are providing through digitalized world as assisted technology for the elderly populations having lack of physical accessibility or a physical mobility. So in these areas, we need assisted technology like when we have poor hesitations, poor visions, poor hearing, and memory and cognitive loss, and physical loss, physical health problem, or lack of mobility. Now, digitalizations helps to identify the apps available on smart devices for elderly. Whenever you are purchasing any device, please ask the business person whether this device is elderly friendly or not. You just check your needs and accordingly check the features of the devices. If all the features are meeting your needs, definitely you go, and that particular digital device will assist you a lot. We people are to educate the healthcare providers to help the elderly to teach how to use and operate the digital equipments or digital devices. One must be trained. Only then we can go to use the digital devices. If we people can explain advanced technology, the benefits to elderly, then definitely we are to sensitize the elderly populations about the benefits of the advanced technology. We can discuss the digital divide and its implications for the elderly populations. This is, we are to fill up the gap between young generation to the elderly generations. We can explore the successful use of technology for the elderly populations. We can give the knowledge sharing platform to the elderly populations, and we can share the history of the people who got the success use of elderly assisted devices in the elderly age. Now, when we people, there are certain barriers among the elderly populations, and these barriers compel the elderly people to take the assistance of digitalized world. Why? Because the elderly populations are lacking the digital literacy skills. They people are having an anxiety, fear of technology tools. that they have limited educations, low literacy level, language problem, accessibility barriers, irrelevant contents will be there on the digital device. How to overcome the irrelevant content? Affordable broadband services are to be needed there. Cost of entry, that means the cost of hardware should not be so high. So, whenever we are to go for having or hiring or purchasing the digital device as an assistant for the as a tool for the elderly populations, we are to look into all and take into considerations for the better device or the elderly populations. So, with the help of all these, we can help the elderly populations to go for normal, healthy life during their non productive years of life. We can take the example of, of Freud. Definitely, the Freud, the big psychologist, has very much explaining about the id and ego. When we have an interactions with our social circle, our ego start to dominate. But when we being elderly, we are lacking the interactions, we are lacking the relationship, we are lacking the social connectivity, so automatically ego start to hurt. So, in the present scenario, the inclusions of the elderly population, the streamline of the society through digitalized world will can prove a significant change in the society towards a big step, and the digitalizations can be a milestone. The use of digital devices for the elderly population adequately can be milestone towards the healthy aging of the people. Thank you with this.
So much, sir, for such a wonderful explanation and providing this insight to everybody about the problems of mental health, especially for old age groups and peoples. It is very much needed in present scenario. Brief question is from my side, sir. Through this conference, what advice you want to give to the psychology students or the mental health professionals in a present scenario?
My suggestions or advice or request to the professionals or the psychology students is they must have an sympathetic considerations of the elderly populations, because this is a life cycle. The day will be there when the present young population will be the elderly in the coming futures. We must be sympathetic because in every family the elderly populations may have there. We should not ignore. If you just have a discussion only, elderly don't need any money from you. They need only sympathy and empathy only. If you just sit together with the elderly for a while, out of 24 hours, just spare 1 hour per day to sit and listen the elderly only. Only then there will be a big change in the elderly population's life.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a real piece of advice. Only question I want to take from audience side. He wants to ask, sir, how Indian culture can be helpful in the context of geriatric mental health, and how can we adopt it in clinical or counseling perspective?
Yeah, basically there is a big gap between the Asian and the American lifestyle. In our country, we people are having a social life. In the America or the Western countries, they have an individualistic life. In social life, we people during our young age or during our productive age, we have so much well connected and socially responsible, right? And when we reach to the geriatric level, elderly level, all connections failed. People stop to connect you people. At that time, the people feel lonely. In Indian society, there was one example I am usually referring. मन के हारे हार है मन के जीते जीत. अगर आप elderly population से if you talking, sharing, and not feeling them rejected or not feeling them isolated, obsolete part of the society, then definitely their moral boosting will be very high. जिस दिन से वो लोग मेंटली वीक होना शुरू कर देते, दे स्टार्ट टू डाई फिजिकली आल्सो. थर्ड लेवल पे, if there is any elderly problem, psychological problem of the elderly population in Indian scenario or Indian populations, the social support is only the biggest remedy. Social support, जो कि rural area population is very much intact right now even. But in our urban populations, the support system of the society is totally broken. And this is the reason that the urban populations, they have the elderly home. The elderly people staying in elderly home, old age people, old age home, and they stay there only. And they're not connected with their family members. So don't allow your elderly people to stay in your home. Away from the home, away from home. The real home is your family. Elderly home or the old age home is just an institution providing you physical security only. There is no mental security. But in India, there are n numbers of physical gyms. N numbers of gyms are provided to strengthen their physical power, right? Strength. But mental gym is not there in Indian society. I suggest the professionals, I suggest the psychologist, clinical psychiatrist or psychologist, whatever, please sensitize the comment, sensitize the populations to go for mental gym so that mental issues are to be tackled, are to be handled, are to be resolved at the very onset of the time. If we delay, suppose today I am an anxiety and I'm ignoring, no one listening me, it can convert into depressions. If it still is not been resolved, it can convert and compel me to commit suicide. So the mental gym concept should be started in Indian society, specifically in the urban populations, because there is a need, and I think there is not a single family who do not have any family issues. Every family or the majority of the families are having n numbers of issues going on in their families and they don't want to share out. Why? Because आज जो मैं स्टेटमेंट देना चाह रहा हूं इन हिंदी, सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग. This is the biggest statement. I am killing myself, keeping everything in inside only. I don't want to vomit it out. I don't want to share it out just because my social respect, social reputation, society. What you do with the social respect when you will be no more there? So please try to focus on the importance of your mental health. Right? हमारे पेरेंट्स बोलते थे पहला सुख निरोगी काया. This is the very much popular statement. निरोगी काया जब ही हो सकती है जब आप फिजिकल और मेंटली हेल्थी होंगे. पहले कभी हम सुनते थे कि 90% जो बीमारियां हैं शरीर पेट से पैदा होती. आज के जमाने में मैक्सिमम प्रॉब्लम आपके ब्रेन से शुरू होती, बिकॉज ब्रेन को हमने एक डस्टबिन बना के रख दिया, एक ट्रैश है. आपके कंप्यूटर में भी आपका एंटीवायरस होगा, आपके ब्रेन में यू डोंट हैव एनी एंटीवायरस. ब्रेन इज नॉट ए डस्टबिन. रिवायरिंग चाहते हैं ब्रेन आपका, रिवायरिंग, और उसके लिए आपको आपके अपने ऊपर काम करना जरूरी है, और जिसके लिए सोशल सपोर्ट का होना एक बहुत. सोशल सपोर्ट एक ऐसा कंपोनेंट है जिसके रहते हुए आपको कोई भी मानसिक बीमारी नहीं हो सकती.
For winding up this session, I just want to ask a conclude remark from your side to whole the world and humanity. आप इस सेशन के माध्यम से संपूर्ण विश्व एवं मानवता के लिए क्या संदेश देना चाहते हैं?
My one-liner statement, this is made by myself only. We all are equal among unequals. We all are equal among unequals. We should not isolate any person irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their age, irrespective of their society, irrespective of their caste, creed, or religion. Because we all are equal among unequals. We all are unequal because we all are unique by birth. हर इंसान एक यूनिक है. My message to the humanity is you respect the human values. You respect the civic sense of the society. You retain the civic sense of the society for the harmonious development, cohesive development of the society. So, we all are equals among unequals.